Good morning, this is Chris, keeping it real, facts over fear. It's a nice Saturday morning, just sitting here doing a little research. In my last video, I touched on the idea of excess deaths, and so I found a very good source of information, the CDC. You see, this is the link up above, and I will put that in the description below. So this data comes directly from the CDC, the NCHS. All these acronyms are all through this document, or these web pages. But I'm going to just focus on this one particular table. The NCHS is part of the CDC. Both are part of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. So that's the overall department. It's a cabinet level department that has a secretary and all that kind of good stuff. Excess deaths is a term used in this current pandemic, is in regards to this current pandemic, to describe how many more people have died than what have normally been expected to die, and that's what this table is all about. This allows us to understand how serious the pandemic really is. So I'm only going to focus on the first three elements of the first line of table 2, but as you can see, there's a lot of data there. So let's go here, and we can see in the United States of America, we have had officially, now this is an official count from actual doctors and hospitals and mortuaries and such, where we actually have a confirmed death with an actual confirmed reason. So as they make note in the notes, this process can take up to 8 weeks, and so this is kind of a provisional sort of data. It's not complete yet. It's probably, at this point, probably about 95% complete, I would think. So we've had 209,568 official deaths as of yesterday. Death from all causes has been 2.288 million from all causes in the United States, and so we have a percent of expected deaths is 112%. So in other words, we have 12% more deaths than we would have had according to the averages from 2017 to 2019. So that's where they get the baseline is an average from those 3 years. So the number of expected deaths is derived so it doesn't give you the expected deaths, it just gives you the number of deaths. So we have to come up with the number of how many deaths were expected this year. So the number of expected deaths is derived by taking the number of actual deaths and dividing that by 112% and then subtracting that result from 2.288 million, and we arrive at a figure of 245,162 excess deaths. So you take this number and subtract 245,162 from it, and that's the number of deaths that would have been expected this year. I've got it on a spreadsheet somewhere, but I don't want to leave these pages, so you can do the math. Interestingly, there are only 209,568 confirmed deaths involving COVID-19, which means that there are another 35,594 excess deaths not attributable to that disease. And so it's almost like there's a pandemic within a pandemic. Even without COVID-19, we are running 35,000 more, which is I don't know what that percentage is off the top of my head, but we were having a higher than normal year of deaths in the United States for some reason this year, and it's either because of COVID-19 or it has nothing to do with COVID-19. I'm going to have to see if I can find some data, if I can get some more breakdowns. A chart like this would be great if I could find it somewhere, but I just did the figures, and I wanted to get this video out, but I will dig into that further and see if we can't discover why we were having more deaths than normal anyway. And so COVID-19 is not the exclusive cause for the number of excess deaths this year. In fact, it's about, let me see, 209. out of 245, what is that? About 80%. Let's just use a round number, 80% of excess deaths. So there's another 20% of excess deaths that are not explained at this time. The value of using excess deaths is that we can ignore the specifics of whether people are dying from or with COVID-19. To me, that's just a matter of semantics. You know, if somebody, as far as I'm concerned, if somebody has COVID-19 and they die, that's what pushed them over the edge. Now, of course, some people were going to die anyway, but we can just forget about, you know, it doesn't really matter to me. I mean, it matters that people are dying, but it doesn't matter from a statistical outlook, you know, if people die from something or with something. What we need to do is look at the total number of people that are dying and figure out why they are dying and figure out if there is anything, if anything, we can do about it. I don't know that we can. I don't know that this virus can be stopped. I think this virus is going to run its course no matter what we do. And the recent uptick in cases, to me, is proof of that. But that's for another video. So I just wanted to bring that to you and have you look at that. You can look at this CDC website anytime you like and see for yourself what's going on, and then, you know, decide for yourself. One thing I did notice that was interesting, North Carolina has only experienced 88% of its expected deaths. I don't know how that works. Of course, now some jurisdictions, see, North Carolina is the least. Of course, New York City is the worst. It'd be interesting to do a demographic comparison between us and them and see what's going on. And so, but that's kind of another side matter. But I did just want to bring this to you. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the section below. Like and subscribe. We appreciate when you do. And we'll see you on the next fact-filled video.